Okay. Yeah, we got a chance to get in here and look at the tape. There's a ton of stuff that needs to be corrected. But I would say this. I would say it's been my experience over the last, however many years that you get into these games like this, and the good teams are able to win these games when they're not playing at their best. And look, I credit, Atlanta. I thought they had a really good plan. I thought they played hard. They made some things really difficult and challenging for us. But at the end of the day, we made enough plays to win the game. So I was proud of the way that our guys, like I said after the game, proud of the way that they fought and competed. But we also know that there's a lot of stuff that we got to clean up.
Tell us, what did you think overall about the pass protection?
Actually, I thought the pass protection was actually pretty solid overall. We had a couple of miscues in terms of, identifying on the protection. And there was a couple of plays where maybe we were a little deep in the pocket, maybe we held on to it a little bit. I mean, here's the thing: when you talk about pass protection, there's a ton of different variables that go into it, and typically the first thing is everybody starts to talk about the offensive line and things of that nature. But there's a lot of different elements that are involved in that. Receivers running the proper route at the right depth, quarterback getting to the right depth, getting rid of the ball, backs in protection. So there's a lot of different things that go involved in that. I don't think we were as clean as we needed to be early in the game, particularly in the first half. But I felt like, as the game went on, I thought we got a little bit better.
Coach, knowing that you're a defensive guy, you guys gave up over 200 yards on the ground. What steps are you making to correct that to the next level?
Well, look, the first step, we met on it today, and it's unacceptable. That's not been the standard that we've had around here, and it won't be the standard that we'll have around here. I thought, I said this after the game. I don't think I was as good as I needed to be in helping our guys out. I do think that, there's a little bit of an element of surprise in terms of exactly what are they going to do, with a new quarterback. So there was a lot of things that we had to try to adjust to in terms of that. And look, they blocked us. And I told our guys that today. They blocked us. And so, we have to coach better in that area, and we got to play better in that area.
I know after the game yesterday, James said he was in pain, and then he joked, pain everywhere. I'm just asking, is he okay?
Yeah. I think he's fine.
You mentioned the slow start offensively. Did you sense something in the fourth quarter, a play or something that happened that kind of got you guys on the right track?
Well, look, I mean, obviously, you guys saw the game. I mean, we got into a little bit of a 2-minute type of operation and, opened it up with a completion to Juwan, and I thought we just kind of got into a little bit of a rhythm there in terms of throwing the ball. I thought Jameis felt real comfortable in that situation. So, I think when you get into those, 2-minute type of deals, sometimes it can kind of calm the look down of the defense a little bit, and I felt like that was a little bit of the case there. So, but we certainly got into a rhythm, and I think once Jameis got into a rhythm, it was he felt good about what he was doing.
And I'm sure it's probably too simplistic to say, but it was part of the element on defense, the concept of not sitting back, but, making sure to keep a mobile quarterback like that corralled instead of attacking and sending more blitzers and things like that.
Yeah. Look, that was part of it, and part of it was, not really knowing exactly what they were going to do. Trying to give our guys some kind of songs they know by heart a little bit. But look, you got to give Atlanta credit. They did a good job of scheming up a few plays that were difficult for us, and then certainly we got to do a better job of executing and getting off blocks and making some plays.
How would you say people were in data for watching?
I thought overall pretty good. I thought overall pretty good for a guy that, really didn't practice much in training camp. I thought he did some nice things. There's a few things that we need to get cleaned up, as we do with all these guys, but I thought overall, I thought it was solid.
Dennis, what do you think about Jarvis Landry's day, and particularly talk about the catch that he made on the field goal drive at the end to go up and get?
Yeah, look, I thought Jarvis played well. He was involved in the quarterback, crack toss there that Taysom scored the touchdown on. I thought it was blocked really well. Jarvis was right at the point of attack on that particular play. That's probably something that not many people talk about. He made a nice catch on the seam ball in the 2 minute when they pressured us a little bit, and made a nice catch and run. And then obviously the play there at the end of the game on the boundary was a hell of a play, and going up there and high pointing the ball. So, I thought, first game in a real live game in a Saints uniform, I thought it was pretty good.
DA, did you all feel like you handled the clock management there after?
Not as well as we need to. I would say, when you kind of go back and you watch that play, and I'm standing right there, and clearly to me looks like Jarvis makes the catch, he's contacted, he's in bounds, and I'm saying clock it, which is what you would do in that situation. And it's really not until when you watch the tape, the official's actually behind me, that ends up, kind of saying that the clock stops. So, look, we got to do a better job as a coaching staff in that situation. Starts with me, the communication into the quarterback, the communication with me to Pete. We got to do a better job there, and we will.
How did that first live game go with Pete as the play caller, like communication-wise on the sideline?
I thought it was awesome. I thought he did a great job. The one thing that Pete does, he does a really good job of getting the personnel and the play call in quickly to the quarterback. And I think that's, there's a lot of times where, us as play callers, we want to have the perfect play call. It's not about having the perfect play call. It's about delivering the call confidently and effectively to the signal caller out there on the field, and get it communicated to the players and go line up and go play. So, I thought he did a good job.
With that kind of frantic kind of moment where there was a lot of confusion going on with the spike, what did it kind of say about James that he was able to kind of maintain composure all of a sudden at 2nd and 20 and just find Juwan for, right at the button for field goal range?
Yeah, kind of what we thought. That's why he's here. I mean, those are the type of throws that he's capable of making, and I thought he did a good job of keeping his poise and finding Juwan over the middle and getting us into field goal range.
Yeah, did you all was that a pump block on that Taysom got tackled on there at the very end? Were you all?
Yeah, we had a rush on, and look, I thought Taysom did a great job of attacking the protection and getting on an edge and forcing them to have to hold him, and instead of starting that drive on the 10-yard line, we're starting the drive on the 20. And when you got such little time and yards are precious at that time, getting that 10-yard penalty I thought was a big deal.
I know we won't talk to you till Friday, so I just wanted to ask about the game this week. I know much will be made about what you all have done with Brady the last 4 regular seasons.
Has no effect on anything else.
I know a lot is different, but a lot's still the same. Do you look at that and talk about that, or is it just something you don't reference?
Well, look, we're going to look at how they've tried to attack us. I think we, played them with Brady at quarterback. We played them 5 times. And so we're certainly going to look at how they've tried to formation us, how they tried to attack us, how they called the game. But look, every year's different, every game's different. We got a hell of a challenge in front of us, and we respect the hell out of the team that we're about to play, and we're going to have to play much better than we did this week if we expect to win.
And what is a non-secret know, one
Well,
popular
yeah,
solution is that
look,
you
you have to do something to disrupt the timing in the passing game. I mean, if you aren't able to get any pressure and allow him to kind of sit back there comfortably, you know, he'll pick you apart. If you're not able to do something to disrupt the timing and the rhythm of the receivers getting down the field, you know, it's a challenge, you know, so, yeah, it's certainly a tough matchup.
And then just going back to yesterday, on Will, the one that Will has missed, is there something operational or he just?
No, I think he just kind of pulled it just a little bit. But look, he came back and responded, made 2 more field goals in the game and made the big one to win it. So it's kind of what we expect out of him.
I know you said yesterday, you told you guys to have thick skin. Did they, I mean, was the reception kind of?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You know, we got a good group of guys that understand how to win in our league. They also know what keeps you from winning in our league, and they know that we did a lot of things in that game that could have kept us from winning that game. But fortunately, we were able to make enough plays, you know, to win it. But you know, our guys know that won't be good enough moving forward.
I'll just celebrate your first win. As head coach.
Watched the tape on the flight home, and then I went home and watched Tampa and Dallas on the TV. I think that's it. That's it. We're moving on to number 2.
Do you have a spot for the game ball?
Yeah, with all the other game balls that we have, which I don't know where those are. You know what I mean? Like, come on, let's go to the next one.
Dennis Kamara deal with any sort of injury since he left?
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rib, but I think he's going to be fine.
And is adversity a really hard thing to simulate in training camp, and is that what makes the early part of the regular season kind of?
Well, certain situations are hard to replicate the adversity in training camp. I mean, obviously, you know, there's different, how do you look at adversity? Like, you know, overcoming the heat and the distraction of that. I mean, that's some adversity. You know, we have some injuries going through training camp. Guys are having to battle through some stuff. So you're seeing it just in a different way. It's hard to replicate being down 16 points in the fourth quarter in training camp. Like, we don't practice that situation a lot. And so, but you can practice and get better at just having that mental toughness and mental fortitude to keep pushing through no matter what the obstacles are. And look, I commend those guys in that locker room for being able to do that. Look, there wasn't a lot of doubt, you know, that we were going to be able to come back. I felt like the enthusiasm and the belief on the sideline was always there.
And that confusion over the clock, did you get any communication from the league? Because that could have been said.
Not at this moment.
Yeah, because when you said we have to do a better job as coaches, do you mean we have to do a better job seeing that the clock is stopped and take the gift that the referees gave us? Or do you mean we have to consistently keep running the clock, which would have been the right call?
Well, I would say this, it was the first game for all of us. All right, first game for coaches, players, officials, everybody. You know, so, but listen, we control what we control, and I thought, you know, we probably could have done a better job as a coaching staff of, you know, seeing that the clock had ended up, you know, that they ended up stopping it and could have got us into a better play.
Well, when you looked at it, he was touched in bounds. And
Certainly felt that way from me standing from me to you to him, but that's not the way it was ruled. You know, it's one of those circumstances. You look at it, you learn from it, and you know, hopefully, you know, we don't fall victim to that anymore.
Coach, you said you watched the Cowboys Tampa Bay game last night, and you saw, I guess, that Leonard Fournette had a pretty good game, at least on the ground. Do you guys have any plan, at least after seeing how he played, then against kind of probably trying to mirror what Cordarrelle did last night, at least from stopping from the defensive unit from you guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't take anything away from yesterday's game and necessarily try to apply it to next week's game. Obviously, we're just getting into the beginning stages of studying Tampa. You know, look, we'll spend a lot of late nights putting together a plan and feel like we'll have a pretty good plan to try to go out and execute against them.
What did you think of the two penalties on Marshall and late?
I didn't love the first one. I don't totally agree with that, but you know, by the letter of the law, is a foul. And the second one was a foul. So you know, look, we got to be better than that. And Lattimore knows that, you know, he knows that. We got to be better.
What was your takeaways on the kind of rotation in the slot? Obviously, a lot of work for Justin Evans and just going forward.
Yeah, well, in this particular game, there wasn't a lot of rotation in there. You know, I think PJ got in for a few plays in that spot. I thought as the game wore on, I thought Justin did a nice job. And so look, we'll take a look at what Tampa's doing, find out what the best matchups for us are, and we'll have a plan for them. All right, thanks.